Ever wondered why anyone would leave the peaceful, community-focused Amish way of life? Leaving the Amish can mean not being baptized or leaving after baptism, which leads to excommunication. In this video, we'll explore the 5 main reasons behind this choice. Desire for higher education. Did you know that Amish education typically ends after 8th grade? This limitation becomes a turning point for many intellectually curious Amish youth. The Amish approach to education focuses on practical skills and apprenticeship rather than formal degrees, preparing young people for life within their community. After 8th grade, Amish teens usually begin hands-on training at family farms or businesses. But for those with dreams of becoming doctors, lawyers, or scientists, this path becomes a roadblock. Take Sarah, who left her community at 20. Her passion for medicine couldn't be pursued within these educational boundaries, despite her brilliance in science. This isn't about intelligence, it's about different knowledge and career aspirations. As one former Amish student said, "My mind was hungry for knowledge in ways my community couldn't feed it." While the pursuit of education leads some Amish youth to leave, others face much more difficult and personal challenges that force them to make this difficult choice. Escaping abuse. Like any community, abuse and dysfunction exist among the Amish, with studies suggesting these issues can be complicated by the community's preference for handling problems internally. The Amish emphasis on forgiveness and community discipline can sometimes create environments where victims of abuse feel unprotected. When abuse occurs, whether physical, sexual, or emotional, some Amish communities address these issues within church discipline systems rather than involving outside authorities. This approach can leave victims vulnerable and without proper support. One former Amish woman described leaving after years of abuse that church leaders acknowledged but never reported. Her departure was her only path to safety. It's important to note that many Amish communities are increasingly working with authorities on abuse cases, showing positive change in this area. As one abuse survivor explained, "I didn't leave because I rejected my faith. I left because I needed protection my community couldn't provide." Beyond these deeply personal situations, some leave for reasons related to modern life and technology that create tension between tradition and progress. Technology restrictions. While outsiders might assume that technology restrictions are the main reason people leave the Amish community, the reality is much more nuanced. It's often not about wanting modern conveniences, but about the business opportunities technology offers. Amish communities are not strictly anti-technology. Instead, they evaluate each technology carefully based on how it might affect their core community values and relationships. The aim is to preserve the close-knit, simple lifestyle they cherish without allowing technology to erode these values. However, this careful balance can create tension, especially for Amish entrepreneurs looking to expand their businesses. As businesses grow, Amish entrepreneurs often hit a technological ceiling. The need for more modern tools, like computers, websites, or advanced machinery, becomes harder to ignore. This is where conflict arises. Amish business owners may need these tools to stay competitive, manage inventory, or expand their reach. But the community often restricts such technologies, believing they may disrupt the way of life. The struggle is not just about embracing technology, but finding a way to use it that aligns with their traditions. Take John, for example. He ran a successful woodworking business that grew to employ 15 people. As his business flourished, he realized that to keep up with demand and manage operations effectively, he needed computerized inventory systems and an online presence. This was a significant turning point. His desire for technological tools created ongoing conflicts with church leaders, who were concerned that embracing modern practices might lead to a less communal and more individualistic lifestyle. John's story is not isolated. Many Amish entrepreneurs face the same dilemma: to adhere to traditional ways or adopt modern business practices to thrive. This tension highlights the delicate balance Amish entrepreneurs must maintain between economic growth and community values. As one former business owner explained, "I respected our traditions, but eventually had to choose between growing my business and staying in the community." While business and technology create external pressures, for some Amish individuals, the struggle is much more internal and relates to their very identity, LGBTQ plus identity. For LGBTQ plus individuals born into Amish communities, the path forward presents particularly difficult choices. The Amish interpretation of biblical teachings does not allow for the open expression of non-heterosexual identities within their church community. The Amish faith is deeply rooted in traditional views of gender and sexuality, where heterosexual marriage is seen as the only acceptable form of relationship. This creates an environment where being openly gay or transgender is not only discouraged but entirely unaccepted. For many LGBTQ plus individuals in Amish communities, this leaves them in an impossible situation. They must either suppress their true identity or leave everything they know behind. Living authentically as a gay or transgender individual within the Amish community is not an option, as it directly contradicts the core beliefs of the church. This results in an agonizing choice between personal self-expression and maintaining ties with family and community. For LGBTQ plus individuals, staying in the community often means leading a life of secrecy and self-denial. This creates an emotional burden, especially when family, faith, and tradition are so deeply intertwined in Amish culture. Take David's story, for example. He knew from an early age that he was gay, but out of fear of rejection, he tried to ignore these feelings in order to conform to the expectations of his Amish community. He lived with this internal conflict for years, attempting to follow the traditional Amish path. But by his 20s, David realized that he could no longer live inauthentically. The painful decision to leave his family and community was heart-wrenching, but he felt it was the only way to live his life honestly. For David, staying meant denying a core part of his identity that he could not change. David's experience illustrates one of the clearest examples where personal identity and community religious beliefs create an unbridgeable gap. The Amish faith, which values conformity and collective identity, leaves little room for individual expression outside prescribed norms. As one former Amish man reflected, "I didn't leave because I wanted to reject my community. I left because staying meant rejecting myself." Beyond these deeply personal struggles with identity, differences in spiritual beliefs and religious expression can also create profound reasons for leaving. Spiritual and religious differences. Interestingly, many who leave the Amish community don't abandon their faith altogether. Studies suggest around 50% of those who leave join other Christian denominations that offer different theological approaches. The Amish practice a traditional form of Christianity, focusing on community discipline, separation from the world, and humility. Their religious practices are deeply connected to their way of life, which is governed by strict rules regarding behavior, dress, technology, and daily routines. While this lifestyle works for many, it can feel limiting for others, particularly when it comes to spiritual growth and personal faith. In Amish communities, the focus is on collective religious experiences, such as church services held within the community, where conformity to shared beliefs is expected. Faith is seen through the lens of the group, with little room for individual spiritual exploration. However, some Amish-raised individuals find themselves drawn to more evangelical expressions of Christianity. These churches offer greater emphasis on a personal relationship with God, freedom of interpretation of Scripture, and the ability to pursue individual paths to salvation. Unlike the Amish approach, which places strong importance on tradition and communal living, these denominations offer flexibility and personal growth in one's spiritual journey. Churches such as Baptist, Pentecostal, and Seventh-day Adventist communities often appeal to former Amish who are seeking a more individualized form of faith. Many Amish feel stifled by the rigid practices and beliefs of their upbringing and look to other Christian denominations for spiritual freedom. These faith communities not only provide a personal connection to God, but also invite participation in missionary work and a more active role in shaping one's faith. A powerful example of this is the story of an entire Amish family who left their community to join a Seventh-day Adventist church. Raised within the strict Amish faith, they found themselves questioning certain aspects of their beliefs. The Adventist teachings, which focus on personal salvation and a direct relationship with God, resonated deeply with them. Their decision to leave was not about rejecting faith, but about seeking a different, more personal expression of their beliefs. As one former Amish minister shared, "My faith grew beyond the boundaries my community could contain." This journey highlights that leaving the Amish is often about seeking a different spiritual path, not rejecting faith entirely. And finally, there's one more powerful factor that often pulls people away from Amish life, one that has changed the course of human lives throughout history: relationships with non-Amish people. Love is perhaps one of the most powerful forces drawing people away from Amish communities. Studies suggest that relationships with non-Amish partners account for approximately 15% of departures. The Amish community holds strict requirements when it comes to marriage, with the belief that spouses must both be members of the Amish church. This creates a particularly difficult dilemma for individuals who fall in love with someone outside their community, often leading to a heart-wrenching choice between love and loyalty to their Amish faith and way of life. In Amish culture, marriage is not just a personal decision. It's a decision that affects the entire family and community. The expectation is that both partners share the same religious beliefs, lifestyle, and values, which are deeply rooted in the Amish way of life. When an Amish person falls in love with someone who is not Amish, they face immense pressure to either convince their partner to join the Amish faith or make the incredibly difficult decision to leave their community. Some non-Amish partners choose to convert to Amish beliefs in order to marry their love interest, but many are unable or unwilling to make such a dramatic lifestyle change. Take Maria's story, for example. While selling quilts to tourists, she met a non-Amish man who would later become her husband. What began as a simple transaction turned into a deep and unexpected connection that ultimately changed her life's direction. Maria found herself in a situation that many Amish face loved that led her to question her place in the community. Although the love she had for her partner was real, it required Maria to make an unimaginable choice between staying within her faith or leaving everything she knew to pursue a life with her husband. These relationships reveal how powerful human connection can be in shaping our major life decisions. The love between two people, regardless of their backgrounds, can sometimes outweigh the cultural and religious ties that have shaped their entire lives. As one former Amish woman put it, "I didn't plan to fall in love outside my community, but once I did, I had to follow my heart." In conclusion, not everyone who leaves the Amish community does so with resentment or anger. Many former Amish individuals express a deep appreciation for the values, skills, and sense of community they experienced growing up. However, as they grow and evolve, some come to realize that the lifestyle no longer aligns with their personal beliefs, goals, or sense of identity. While extreme cases involving abuse or trauma often dominate public narratives, they don't represent everyone's story. For many, the choice to leave is rooted in self-discovery and the desire for a different kind of life, one that allows for more personal freedom or intellectual exploration. This decision highlights a universal human struggle, the need to balance a sense of belonging with the pursuit of authenticity and fulfillment. Whether Amish or not, we all face moments where we must choose between staying within familiar boundaries and forging our own path. What reasons surprised you most? Share below.